Trauma bonding is not love. I'm saying it, I'm calling it now. It's not love. At its core, trauma bonding is an intense emotional attachment that forms between people through cycles of pain, betrayal, conflict, and reconciliation. But in black dating culture, trauma bonding is usually mistaken for loyalty, passion, realness, ride or die love. But it's actually just built on trust built through crisis, not care. When crisis is constant, it becomes love's actual language in crisis. So let's just go through why trauma bonding happens specifically in black dating, because the reasons for it are very, very interesting. So of course, black families were forcibly separated during slavery. We know that love was not allowed to exist safely. So it became dangerous, reactive, and hidden. Loyalty became what survived pain, not what nurtured peace. And then we got to see a lack of models in safe for slow building love. And this is one of the things I advocate for all the time. We have a lack of healthy models in the community. And that's what makes black TV and stuff like that unhealthy, because every chance that we have, every opportunity we have a chance to see, like, something better, they always make it like that. You know what I mean? So most of the black youth grew up seeing relationships built in survival mode. We usually don't witness conflict repair, boundaries with love, accountability without abandonment. So we confuse chaos with closeness. And then when you're used to emotional neglect from systems and family, the first person who feels you during crisis, who makes that child, that restless child in you feel warm for the first time, they feel like the one. The bond forms fast because it was built on the urgency of being understood, not the health of being held, right? So then we get to see the dangers of it really creep in. Intimacy becomes tied to suffering. The more they hurt you and come back, the stronger the bond feels, because that's literally, reassuring the fear that everybody will leave you and you would stay abandoned. But deterioration is still present at that state. Your nervous system starts to confuse anxiety with love. And then we see love equaling endurance, not freedom. You feel obligated to stay even though you're depleted. The relationship becomes proof of how much pain you can take, not how well you can care. And this is one of those things I always think about so bad. It's like if somebody was taking a little ice pick and chipping at the side of your phone screen, right, non-stop. Wouldn't you tell him to stop at some point? Right, if he said that was fixing your phone. And a lot of these people apply this same type of mentality to the relationship, that they enter decline, right? The whole relationship enters decline. And instead of ending the relationship, because you would rather end it than let it decline, right? Let it end itself. They would rather prove through their anguish that the relationship meant something, all the way until it crashed into the fucking earth. But also, this is a real interesting one. Boundaries get seen as betrayal in a trauma bond as well. Saying I need space equals abandonment. Saying I deserve better looks like disloyalty. You protect the bond more than you protect yourself. And what it ends up replacing is trust-based narratives. So trauma bonds is a shortcut, right? But not a solution. It forms because we've never been given the tools to build trust over time. Okay, trust-based narratives require time, safety, vulnerability, repetition, repair, rest. All those things are usually unavailable in a black life because we're in an economic crisis. We don't have access to collective healing. We're taught to be strong, not soft. We perform resilience to earn worth. So trauma becomes the bonding agent, right? In a relationship where trust should have been the narrative. So really, how do we resolve this? Easily, right? We name it. We got close in pain, but that doesn't mean we're right for each other. Awareness just begins with the language. If you can name it, you can break it, right? But also practice safety over spark. Pay attention to how you feel in the calm moments. If you're the only one fine when things are on fire, right? If you're only close when things are on fire, that's not a relationship. That's emotional dependency, right? And then normalize leaving when it just hurts too long. Don't let your relationship enter decline. You got to care about it enough to not see it burn down, right? Endurance isn't loyalty. Staying isn't proof that love was real. Ending something that breaks you is not quitting love, it's choosing life for both of you, right? And then you got to rebuild trust differently, because trust built in a crisis needs to be reconstructed in care, right? So you got to introduce slowness, transparency, mutual emotional labor, communal accountability, like friend check-ins, therapy, co-healing spaces, and learn what safe love feels like. It might feel boring, right? It really might, because you're used to high stakes bonding. But safe love isn't reactive. It doesn't test your worth. It doesn't punish your boundaries. It lets you be soft without punishment. Trauma bonding is not love. It's love trying to survive a war it didn't cause. So if we, the descendants of breakage, deserve love, then that doesn't need pain to prove itself, right? Because we just deserve love innately. So we don't need to go through more agony to prove that. So I'm just going to end it with this. Even in my own relationship, like when I saw things going into decline, like I was in so much anguish at the thought that it was going to go into decline, that we had to take action. It didn't really matter what the action looked like, and it really is the difference between commitment and relationship. A relationship is like a no-hit speed run. Like, you know, you got to do everything perfect, and by the end, you're just happy you didn't mess up. But a commitment is about a person accepting you for who you are with your mistakes, because by the end of a relationship, neither one of you have to be better. But at the end of a commitment, you would have been a better person, at minimum. Right? And that's what you wanted for them. It's really just the difference between actual human empathy and you just understanding this is a relationship, so I'm not going to do certain things. Transgression versus transformation. Right? Judgment and guidance on two sides of the same coin. You can either wait for your relationship to judge you, or you could guide it effectively enough for it to materialize something better for the both of you. And this is why I really think when it comes down to men, or when it comes down to women, concept, like, I talk about leadership and submission a lot, but partnership is the word. Because if you can't do it together, you can't do it at all.